I did the auto attacks. I read the kit. I don't miss. Am I a pro player? I gotta be now, right? No, now we gotta form the limits and the playstyle from the kit. This is the depth part. We covered yesterday what the passive does, but what else does it do? Or what does it mean for you? On top of what we said yesterday, it also gives you a buff every 10 seconds. The next non-ult ability you use gets a 2-second reduced cooldown. The 2 normally has a 14-second cooldown. You use it, now it's got 12. But what does having 2 seconds off of a cooldown do for you? Few things. If you pay attention to when the buff is up, you can spam that ability more often. You can build up the damage on it. You can level it up with your passive. What do you want in a fight? Do you want more spaced out damage with the 1? Then start with the 1. Do you want more heals and slows? Start with the 2. You want more movement? Then use your 3. More English would be nice. I almost forgot the word. And that brings up more questions. What ability do you want? What makes one better than the other? What would you do for a Klondike bar? That has to do with leveling. That has to do with building. Right now, just take in as much as you can. The 1 gives an attack speed buff, but it's kind of weird because the buff starts when the ability starts. So by the time the ability ends, you've already wasted some of that time. And you can't cancel out of it early, so it's a really weird buff. But something to note is the stuff that's not here. There's no immunities on it. If you get hit with crowd control, you lose out on damage. It's like on Bacchus, do I get the 2 or do I get the 3? If they have crowd control to stop you, get the 2. If they don't, get the 3. The 2 has healing, also has slows, also does bonus damage once you level it up and you get the double hit. But what does that do for you? The obvious thing is hit multiple targets multiple times as much as you can. What if you can't? If you're against 2 people but you're not in a spot to where you can hit them both at the same time, do you hit one person twice or each one of them one time? If you want the heal, it doesn't matter who you hit how many times. Maybe you want the most damage on a single target, so you hit one person twice. What about the slow? Maybe you want one person slowed a lot or 2 people kind of slowed a little. It's going through all these things mentally beforehand that puts you above the players who just get into the game and spam abilities. The 3 has the protections after you hook a god, only after a god. Don't think that you can hook a wall and be as tanky. Also increased movement speed once it's ranked up 3 times. But what it doesn't mention is you have crowd control immunities when you snag somebody. Every time you see a character with that glow, you know that's crowd control immunities. It also fails to mention a very small thing, very tiny. She's untargetable, meaning she can take no damage. Even though it says it's a dash, it's not actually a dash. Apollo has a dash. He's moving along the ground. He's susceptible to damage in CC. And it's not considered a leap because a Wheelish can't ult it. This gives options but also adds depth in character matchup knowledge. A little more testing to get a little more specific. You cannot immune things that are waiting for you. If you get targeted by a tower and it shoots you, there is no way to immune it with your 3. It's going to follow you, it's going to wait, and then it's going to hit you. Artemis and Neith, both of their ultimates work like tower shots. And it starts to raise all these questions. What about Nuwa ultimate? What about Fenrir? His brutalize, is it going to follow you? Is there a small window where he can bite you when you're CC immune and it puts down his ultimate? Now that takes a lot of time and people, but that is so much fun to me. That's sort of the bigger projects that I want to work on. Then there's the ultimate. We talked about positioning it. There's crowd control immunities. The second and third phase go through everything. The first phase will clip through tiny walls which don't exist anywhere except, oh yeah, character specific matchups. This is like Ymir, Thor, Kabrakan. And can you imagine the look on their faces if you pull that off in a match? They will throw gems your way. Thank you so much for teaching me. I didn't know I could do that. So in summary, just ask yourself questions. What can it do for me? Does it slice? Does it dice? Does it come with cup holders? If not, did I keep the receipt? And what does that mean for leveling and building? We'll figure that out next episode. Now get out there and become the god you were meant to be.